I guess. I didn't plan to do a video this morning. Um, Listening to individuals speak about the recent Trump indictments, I think it was attempt to deprive of rights, defrauding the U.S. government, conspiracy to defraud the U.S. government, obstruction of procedure or something like that, which is the election, which is basically, I didn't realize it before, basically saying that Trump was warned about how what he was doing was illegal and was wrong and it was unethical. He did it anyway. And there's a paper trail, evidently, of people who warned him. So, listening to, it was John Eastman, or one of those guys, talk about how people said there could be violence. It made the point that that's what the insurrection act's for. And it really hit me. And that's the point of this video. Because you've heard a lot of talk recently about how the country is so inflamed, and at both sides, and both sidesism is really Republican shit. The important thing to remember is these guys were willing to start shit, to start a fire, and watch the whole forest burn down, and then they'd be the one to call the firefighters. I've heard white folks talk about something called riot privilege, which is basically the black people, no matter what the government said, no matter what's going on, if the people do something that black folks don't like, they can go burn it down. Well, this is a little bit similar, isn't it? If you believe that. And that's in reference to Ferguson. It's a little bit similar in that you're saying to me that you really feel that if people don't vote where you want them to vote, or the government doesn't do what they want you to do, or something happens you don't like, we'll just go out here. I'm going to go out here in the street and start shit. It's like calling the military to kill you guys. There is something very dark. I don't think like most people do. I think differently than most people do. I notice things people don't notice. Something very dark about this. That they knew this would be dangerous. Trump talks often about how him getting indicted would be dangerous to the country. Him going to court would be dangerous to the country. He's talked in the past many times about that. And I've always thought that he's using it like a hostage. And this is the first time I saw any evidence to that belief I have. That these people, they're not running off of like tax policy or, a way to avoid next pandemic or crime. They're running off of rage and white aggrievement. And they're running off the notion that if I don't get what I want, we'll set this bitch on fire. And this was proof. This was proof, and there probably is no crime against that. There's no crime, there's no statute about that, but to me that's very dark. That's very wicked. It's almost demonic in that you're telling me you want niggas to get out here and burn it up so you can call in the military and get a bunch of us killed. I know that Trumpism is, an ideology, and that it isn't based off of logic or reason or those kind of things, and that these kind of things are based off of like a name brand. Like, I'm a Trump supporter. That means I'm a white male, I'm Christian, whatever. I get it. But for me, this was the bridge too far. I don't think everybody voted for Trump or still wants to vote for him as a racist. But I think for many of them, racism was not a selling point. When you have something, if you get an antique car and it's a money pit, so you get a house, you get a property. That's a better example. And the house got all kind of problems. It's got mold. It's got a sinkhole in the backyard. It's in a bad neighborhood. There comes a point with that property where any more your money being sunk into it is a waste. This is what smart people do. And for me, Charlottesville, January 6th was my selling point. But for him, to me, legitimately as a man, this today is was August the 1st. Today, August the 2nd. This is August 1st was when it was filed. Was the moment that if you're still a Trump supporter, you're an idiot. You're a sucker, and you're a cult follower. And I never, Trump. So it's no fluke. It's no accident. It's not incidental that he shares ground with Nazis, neo-Nazis, Nick Fuentes, and others. It's no fluke that this is widely known. And he's always had little excuses. And, I didn't know. I don't think the Secret Service would let you ride with someone like that. And then I know. Not completely stupid. I know Secret Service is not going to, as well known as people like that are, they know who you are. And, this just further affirms for me. This is the qualified thing that this is where they're going down. This is the path they're proceeding down. And once again, it worries me the next Trump. A guy that can put his pants on right, and a guy that maybe doesn't make so many racial comments, and maybe he takes the next disease, next pandemic seriously. Maybe he doesn't make it about dividing the country. Maybe he doesn't put in outright criminals. Maybe he doesn't put in outright fanatics like the last guy he put in, and people like that. Maybe he doesn't have people like Miller. Maybe if he has a guy like Miller pop up, maybe he fires them. Maybe he says, you know what? We don't want racists in our White House. Maybe that happens. This right here shows you the outright danger in another Trump presidency.